I am the eruption of your burning pleasure. The living god of RPGs returns to prophesize upon your mind. Today I'm going to talk about not those closest to us. Now we've all played elves and vampires and dragons and weird hyenas and Macaulay Lasombras and all sorts of other things. But what I see is so often in gaming groups, and this seems to be almost ubiquitous regardless of the individual's actual standing in these categories. People like to play when they play humans, and the same people might be perfectly happy to play elves and dwarves and pus-filled vagabonds and so forth. But when they play humans, they like to play humans that are whole so much like them. I have friends that are gay, and every fucking character they make is gay. Conversely, I have friends that are straight, and every character they make are straight. I have friends that are black, and every character they make that's human is black. And friends that are white, and every character they make that's human is white. For me, I find that fucking retarded. I'm just going to put it out there just the way I always do, the way I feel about it. For me, I want to make characters that are different. The fact that we aren't actually acting, we don't actually have to go out there for roles and go, well, I'm sorry, you're white, you can't get the role as a black guy. I'm like, no, son, let me holler at that role, fool. But in an RPG game, I can. You understand? So why wouldn't I? Why would I deny myself any opportunities to explore my limitless creative possibilities in any of those shapes and guises? And I see that it's a very odd thing. You know, I mean, if you're a white dude, playing like a Samoan isn't that hard. It's a fuck of a lot easier than playing an elf. You understand? You can like go and talk to a Samoan. You're like, oh, I see how you are. You can't do that with an elf. Yet your ass is going to go out there and play an elf, aren't you? So why would you play a Samoan? I would, and I have. I've enjoyed them. In fact, I've played characters from all over the planet. I've played Samoans and Arabs and Persians. I've played people from all sorts of different European extracts. I've played a skag of black dudes. I've played straight characters, gay characters, bisexual characters, lesbians. I've played everything you could think of. I have a character from India that I really want to play, and I haven't found the right game to put him in. To not rush him. I have an amazing blaxploitation superhero character that I'm dying. Like, hey, he's haunting my mind to come out and bust someone in their fucking mouth. I could skill set that guy out in any superhero group, and he will be a phenomenal character. So, I'm actually craving to get to play that character. But, to me, I just find that an absolute ludicrous ideal. Right? You don't want to be a same song. You don't want to do the same thing over and over. It just gets so freaking stale and annoying. And I have lots of friends that do that, you know. They're like, oh, well, if I'm this, I need to play a character that's like this. Oh, I mean, I could play a hill giant, but fuck, someone of a different race. Oh, that's too far. That's too much of a stretch for my bitch ass and lack of imagination. For me, so that's, in my mind, my role-playing idea is so vastly different from somebody who would have that single mentality. And I can understand someone that's trying to stay close to home for that first character or second character or third character, and they're a little intimidated to try to step further past that. But once you've been around the hobby for a while and you've relaxed and you've lost any sort of RPG jitters, there's no reason not to explore every sort of option that you can. And I think that those are really interesting possibilities. For me, I don't think about whatever process somebody that has that mindset goes through. I just don't have that same process. And thankfully I don't, because clearly as a jack to you, because you're limiting yourself. I go, oh, that wouldn't be fun for me. Well, fuck, give it a shot. And I mean, if it can't, how shitty are you at making characters? I mean, straight up. You know, it's just like, oh, I have to play a fighter. Oh, dude, you can play a wizard and have a great time with it. As long as you have a modicum of imagination, you can figure out a way to make any of those archetypes fun. And once you're playing, like, say, the wizard, all of a sudden, your base might be the fighter. You come back to the fighter, and it's more exciting the next time because you gave yourself a break. You gave yourself an opportunity to try something else, and you might find the other thing you like better. So the same thing, like if you're, and I'm just going to use white because I'm white, right? at least mostly. I am. Well, anyway, if I go and I play a black dude for my next character, or Samoan, or I play a guy from Japan, or whatever it is, that I come back and make the character more interesting. For me, I generally, and not always, because not everyone pays any mind to this, but generally when I put a character together, I actually go through, kind of figure out the ethnicity, because a lot of people in the real world do know that, like, okay, well, my character's 30% German, he's 10% Lithuanian, he's 40% Russian, whatever it is. I do kind of have those things, so there's more character detail that you can drench your experience in. For anyone, that should be an optimal experience. The more you can do, the more entertainment value you can bring from it. And inside that, I find people sometimes, maybe they're scared or intimidated, or maybe the people that are on like the politically correct side, or whatever it is, or conversely, it could be a racist aspect to somebody. But for me, it's a thing. I guess how I'm trying to articulate what I want to say here is that there's about 1 billion ways you can play somebody from any, and 1 billion is too few. There's way more than that. There's while it would be finite, it is extremely high in numerical count that you could play somebody like. So if you do play, let's say, somebody that's from a Native American tribe, and you do it again, those characters should be just completely dissimilar, right? But it's given you another perspective, another aspect. But the great thing, like I said, is different about acting. And acting, you couldn't do that. Like, I mean, maybe to some degree that let this or that slide. Like, yeah, a lot of Greek guys used to play the Indian roles and the cowboy westerns, or it's Chief J. Strongbow or whatever it is. But it has a limit there. You understand? So the great thing about RPGs is it doesn't. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna have this character, and now I have this character, and so forth. In my mind, when I'm putting together a character, those sort of details, I might start off with wherever I start off with the characters. Let's say the character's race in that equation isn't specific. It might be specific. It might be the point I start off with. You could start anywhere with character creation. I could any particular detail. The detail might be like, I really want to play a character from India. Okay, let's build that. But the detail might not be. The detail might be a completely different detail. Or we start and I'm building. I'm like, it's good, but it's not perfect yet. Let's make him Indian. Boom. And we're talking about someone from India versus Native American Indian. But anyway, that's that sort of detail. Or conversely, right? I could just have that character idea. And right, I have like a straight white guy in my head, but now we have a bisexual guy from Pakistan, and that's the character now, because of everything else is led up, and I'm like, oh, I like that change, This is going to give me more to work with. I'm going to be doing something different with the character, because those are just the details that I see there. Those are the details that, for whatever other reason, that predicated them before in my character construction, I think work best. So the video is essentially about trying to come outside of, if that's your mentality, come outside of your safety net and your danger zone. And I've seen this pretty much across the board with most players that have ever seen RPGing. Like I said, if it's a black guy, most of them like to play black characters. If it's a white guy, most of them like to play white characters. If it's a straight guy, most of them play straight characters. If it's a gay guy, most of them play gay characters. So while it's fine to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. Playing a gay black dude, if that's you, why not go and play a straight white guy? Why not give that a try too, to expand, to be something different? That's what RPGs are about. Not about being you. It's about being someone else. That's what's wonderful about it. It's about the thousands of masks that you can place right on your head, and then you're that person. That's the magic. That's where it happens. You get to be you all the time. You get to be similar to you all the time. When you're making a facade, when you're acting, when you're being fake or inauthentic in real life, that's essentially role-playing. You're role-playing a slightly different version of you. That's not the real you, is it? But in an RPG, you can be an elf or a manicore or a displacer beast cleric of Lathander. But, again, those very simple things I so often see people not getting with. And to me, it's absolutely just silly. It's an absolutely silly thing, because if that's your character, run with it. And if you never thought about that sort of character, why not? It's right there. You know, you're making the slightest of changes, right? When we're still dealing with the human spectrum, and everything in the human spectrum is a very slight deviation from what you're doing, versus the Jurassic man-like intelligence with a two-handed sword of blah, blah, blah. It's a whole different sort of deal. And what I'm trying to put over, and listen to me because I'm trying to put it over to you, is believe in the aspect of diving into a different skin. And I mean that quite literally, make the character different. You understand? Make it the character. I don't base it off any of your own reservations or prejudices or even lacks of interest. Because once you run with it, you might find, ooh, wow, I shouldn't have held myself back from whatever it is. Because that might provide a very provocative, very entertaining, very interesting journey. And that's what a character is all about. It's the journey you take in the ethereal space of the collective gaming group. That's where you hit it. That's where you have the magic. That's where you have a wonderful experience. So in the comments below, as your main man commands your mind, let me know how you feel about that. If you've fallen into that trap of going, hey, well, if I'm a human, it'd be, I mean, maybe I'll have blonde hair instead, but I can't be Hispanic, or whatever it is. All right? Is that you? If that is you, why? Why not jump outside and be something different? Why not explore other possibilities? And if that's not you, fucking talk about some of your stories down there in the comments. Always interested to hear everybody's comments and stories and so forth. So let your main man know